I don't know if it's my service or my phone. I'm not sure what's going on, but right now it sounds like someone's playing a piano.
Oh, really?
I don't play the piano.
Let's try and leave real quick and then come back and see if it makes
sense. Okay, welcome everyone. I've got two amazing women with us today. I've got Kristen Matlock, based in California. So yeah, welcome Kristen, to everyone watching.
Thank you.
And I've got Jordan Jarvis, based over South Carolina. Jordan, is that right?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, okay. And yeah, is that reception better for you, Jordan?
A little bit. Let's hope it stays better.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, like, so grateful for the two of you to take your time and share some thoughts. The whole kind of like purpose is linking women from different disciplines, and it's quite surprising when I add up the number of women across all motorsports. There are a lot. Whereas when we first started, I specifically focused on one discipline, which was mainly motocross. But then when you find out there are so many other women racing other disciplines, it really is quite amazing. So yeah, I think probably what I really want to focus on are, the challenges that both of you have encountered throughout your racing career, and that was kind of like the purpose of the magazine, was to sort of put these women who I selected not on a pedestal, but like, sure, damn inspiring for not just in sport, but I think just general daily life. When you come across an obstacle, or plans don't go right, or you both know what I'm talking about. So like, how do you manage to sort of pick yourself up and yeah, make movement forward? Perhaps, Kristen, can we speak with you? Maybe we just keep it present day, racing in America, mainly as the Iron Woman, racing Bajas, and then making the massive commitment to race Dakar Rally earlier this year in Saudi. Yeah, what have been some of those challenges that you've basically overcome?
Oh, there's been many challenges for sure, and I think it's not just being a woman, not just female related at all, because racing off-road, racing, any motorsports discipline is tough. You're going to have all your challenges. But mine, in a nutshell, have just been starting from square one at the very bottom, like I have explained to you in the past, just working my way up. It took me, this is my 16th year total of racing. So it's taken me this long, to get to where I want to be, really. I would say racing the Dakar Rally was the top of my bucket list item, and being able to do that and accomplish that and finishing that race all in the first year of trying was definitely just, I'm losing my words here. It was just super exciting, and it just helped me reach my goal, I guess, in off-road racing or just racing in general. So I feel like that's where everybody would have to start, to get started in racing, period, is just, start at the very bottom and work your way up. And it just makes it greater, in life in general. I would say, taking your time and earning everything along the way and battling all those challenges and everything that comes at you just makes it that much better in the end whenever you reach your ultimate goals.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was a little rough, but just a minute.
Yeah. I mean, like, wow, I could actually speak like with you guys for a whole day, but
We did, I think, not too long ago, too.
There really is. There's just so much that, like you can just, try and express what you go through, because behind the scenes, even photos and just a media report only gives you, a little snippet of what the person actually goes through. Definitely like one-to-one conversations. It frees up, I suppose, your own thoughts and makes it that much more real for viewers who are trying to see, how did she do it?
Right.
I think like Jordan, like I look at 2020 and it really was a massive year. Like honestly, when you crunch the numbers and see what you packed in, and then you put it in the context of what COVID was doing, from pretty much March all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is really amazing. Like you started 2020 in Supercross, then she went over to Europe, Kristen, and raced in the Women's World Championship in the UK at Madeley. And then she came back, and then COVID came, and kind of like threw everything out the back door. Yeah, like that was, like those sort of times are, it really throws you a curveball, I suppose. But you managed to dig deep, and she stuck to her guns, and then managed to end up racing the outdoors when they started, and gain points into both AMA championships. I really take my hat off to you. It's I think, like Kristen said, it's one thing to set your goal step by step, but sometimes in reality, sometimes the steps don't link, and yeah. Jordan, what do you, how do you feel about all of that has happened, really?
Honestly, I'm just really excited to be riding my dirt bike. It's been such a crazy last year. This year has not been quite as bad so far, but it's still pretty close. Everything just feels different, feels off, and it definitely kind of puts like a little kink in it. Like you can feel it when you're riding or at the race, or just practicing or anything like that. You can feel the difference. But last year was fantastic. It was a crazy year for sure. But to race motocross, let alone be a female motocross, I have a very limited amount of years. And I'm trying to make everyone count no matter the circumstances.
Yeah. And tell me, go a little bit more. Tell me a bit more. Like, do the lows really feel like you want to throw it away, but you can't? Yeah. Well,
not For me, at least, I never want to quit riding. If I could, I'd be riding until I'm 80, but probably not going to be happening. I don't know. Just being on a dirt bike, it's so addicting. You can never get enough of it. And at least for me, I've worked so hard at it. I just can't see giving it up anytime soon, just because I put so much effort into it. And if I just gave up, it would all have been wasteful. Would have been a very wasteful last 15 years. But I do love the sport, and I've never wanted to stop. Even on my lowest days, it doesn't make me want to stop. It makes me want to push harder, so I can try and limit my lower days and make more of them better days.
Yeah. It's like, Jordan, are you 19? Are you 19? I think she is.
Say that again.
Are you 19 years old? Oh, she's going to come out. For, like Kristen, it's inspiring to see that, you made that decision, because it wasn't like an easy road that you were going to be tackling. Do you think that passion to race was the main motivator?
For me, yeah, I absolutely love racing, and like Jordan said, just not a bike, but for me it was my quad at first, and now it's a UTV, and just being behind the wheel of my Polaris Razor, and especially for that many miles, that many hours that I spend behind it, because it's a very long distance. The Dakar Rally was 5,000 miles over 12 days of racing. So, I become one with the machine at that point. And it's, there's a lot that inspires me. There's a lot that you have to dig deep and find within you when you're racing a race that magnitude, for sure. And one of them, I mean, not just because I'm on this show or anything like that, talking about female racers or just females in general, but they truly do inspire me. Just thinking about all the up and coming females, the younger females of the next generation, even watching me at that given moment on Instagram and Facebook, all the social media feeds, as well as we were live TV, which was really cool, really awesome. Pretty much anybody out there could follow the race at any given moment. So knowing that those girls were out there and everybody else motivated me to just keep pushing forward. Every time that I had an obstacle or a challenge that may have seemed like it was just going to crush me and stop me in my tracks, that was one of the things that I would think of, and it would just power me and fuel me to just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I know you said it feels a bit out of kink, Jordan, but looking at like how some series are adapting to the change, and I don't really see us going back to like how we were in 2019. So many years. No, I don't see. No, but in a way, it kind of like gives like a reboot, I suppose, because I'm seeing a different type of interest in what women can actually provide an event. Like, for example, I was contacted by the ACU British Motocross Championship, and Jordan will know this, and they've actually created their own women's championship for this year, and I look at GNCC in America, and for the women's class, like that really it's a solid championship of 13 rounds, and women are getting basically as much as an elevated profile as if they were, in in their male class. Some series, I think, are behind the eight ball. Yeah, I just think that they can't run on the same principle that they're going to be able to have their premier classes take all the credit. I just don't think that's sustainable. And I think probably that new series, the Extreme E, which is April, I think. Yeah, Kristen will know. One of their requirements is one male driver and one female driver. And across the board, that's the rules. Kristen, do you think we are seeing a slight change in, women aren't just like a sideline class in events?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, cool.
I feel like when I first started, like I said, about 16 years ago now, I felt like I was the only woman out there, and I was like, all right, well, it's just me and a bunch of guys, but it's what I want to do. So here I am. Yeah. And I feel like, other women, including myself, have inspired more and more women to get out there and do it because they see how much fun that we're having and that we can be successful within a male-dominated sport. So I've definitely seen the female side of it grow within the male-dominated sport, and I love it. And I just wanted to keep building and growing. And I believe companies like the Extreme E or the sport, Extreme E, starting to add female drivers as, a mandatory thing there. I think that's great. That's just going to help us even more. So I applaud them for doing that, and I can't wait to see where it takes us next.
Yeah, I suppose, Jordan, Supercross, it's an incredibly difficult discipline. It's so high risk, and there's not really Supercross. There's no margin for error, and for her to race, she gained points last year to race the AMA Supercross entry. It really is. It's amazing.
How many women have done that so far? Do we know?
Well, I think there's only one prior to Jordan who gained her points, but
okay,
she didn't. She didn't continue, and Jordan started off racing this year, and then she'll go to the outdoors and she'll race the outdoors as well. I personally, I think the motocross scene needs to adapt. I do think they're behind the eight ball. I look at Extreme E and I look at Dakar Rally, where Kristen, you're taken on a level playing field as the guys. Would that be correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There isn't a women class. It's all just a co-ed class.
Yeah. I think we've got it back. Maybe.
Oh. Where's she going?
Sorry about that. I am driving to a different place to try and get service because where I'm staying, unfortunately, does not have any.
She's a woman on a mission. Okay, well, while Jordan's driving, Kristen, maybe we can just touch on because we don't speak about it too much, the UTV and the SSV industry within itself, because it's also it can be a family orientated sport, and not just competition, but I just saw one of your mentions that couples are actually looking at it, buying a vehicle for a weekend outdoors sort of thing. Like, this is really good for, promoting well-being and just ordinary people's lives.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what we do for fun on the weekends. Is we grab our 2 kids and take them out to the desert. We have a 4-seat Polaris RZR, so all 4 of us can go in one vehicle, and then we also have 2-seat options as well. So sometimes I'll drive one kid around, and my husband will drive the other kid around because we both like to drive. So
Yeah,
a 4-seater doesn't fit us that well, but it's a nice option for when we just want to cruise around as an entire family. But then they also make kids versions too. So both of our kids have their own as well. So even our 9-year-old, he's in a scaled down version. It's a 170cc versus a 1000cc. So it's a lot smaller vehicle, and they race those too. So both of our kids race their Polaris RZRs, and so do we. So it's an awesome platform. They've really, targeted the family. I always bring up this whenever people start talking about how family oriented the sport has become over the years. And I've watched it grow from our rides that we put on down in Baja, Mexico. My husband and I will take about 70 to 80 people with us a couple times per year. And when we first started doing that about 15 years ago, we only had motorcycles and like guys with us, and then here I am, like I said before, just me on my quad and a bunch of guys. And since the UTVs or the SSD has been released, we've seen that completely do a 180 on us. And now it's nothing but couples and families going on our rides with us. There's very few just single guys on motorcycles anymore. So it's pretty cool to see that change.
Yeah. And it gives it gives the children like a wonderful experience, I suppose, that life is can exist outside 4 walls and in front of a screen.
Exactly.
That's just
and with COVID, and the pandemic too, the sales of those vehicles have skyrocketed as well, because that's one thing that families can do together and be in the open air, and maintain their social distancing as they choose. And it's great. It's an awesome option for sure.
Yeah. Another silver lining from COVID. Thank you.
Right.
Okay. Jordan, are you good?
No, I'm good now. It's crazy because I actually have less bars here than I do at my motorhome. It just doesn't work at my motorhome. I don't understand how that works, but
yeah. Okay, I wanted to touch on basically I think Supercross, like it is one of the most difficult disciplines. Mainly because you haven't got anything around you when you fall. And it is super high risk. And with Supercross especially, the tracks and the tight laps, no margin for error. So for you to gain your points, last year, it really is, phenomenal. Do you think, I know it's hard to predict going into this year, but is it as a sustainable sport, do you think, Jordan? Or for, what are your thoughts? Yeah.
I definitely think Supercross is sustainable. If we're looking at the racer standpoint and which form of racing does end up giving more out to the actual riders as far as money for podiums and stuff like that, Supercross does end up paying out more, and sponsors do end up paying riders more for winning Supercrosses. So in that matter, I do think it is better. I think you're going to get more variety of people in motocross, more so just because everywhere around the world, people ride motocross. Very few countries outside of the United States do supercross. So I think that's unfortunate. You do see select few every now and then, like Marvin Muscan, Ken Roxon, just people like that do come over and do really well. It does take them a little while to get used to it, but I think motocross, in my opinion, is more fun, just because I'm better at it. And you also get a lot more variety. And I think in hopefully the next coming years, you're going to see more women doing motocross and supercross. But I am trying to make supercross a thing for women, hopefully, if I can figure it out and figure the whoops and stuff out. I'm getting there. But I think if I can turn some heads in that, I think it will make it easier for women to eventually do that as well, just to make it knowing that it is possible for a woman to do it.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I suppose that brings up the point, like, you know, you're both in sports which are high risk. The bottom line is it has to pay. There must be, financial return for what you're doing. I know, like the old adage, what wins on Sunday sells the bike on Monday. But I kind of think that's a bit old now and it's a bit out of date. There must be better packages that are being put together. Let's just take, Kristen, for example, your RZR, your Polaris that you raced in the Dakar. What sort of return of investment do you think, that is actually providing, well, just for yourself as a racer?
That's a tough one because, living out my dreams and just getting to attend an event like that, let alone race an event and get to the finish line, being able to do all that, just a dream come true. And I would have paid money to do it if I had to. So that's a tough one. On a regular basis, I would say like my regular Baja races, and just being out there promoting all the sponsors and trying to make my work great. I would say just being able to go down there and race without spending money out of pocket is a huge accomplishment that a lot of racers can't say that they do right now, and let alone make money at it, and make that your profession. So when you get to that level, I mean, that's something that you need to be proud of for sure, because it's really, really hard to do. I'm not saying that there aren't a select few of us that are there and have accomplished that. And I think it should grow in that direction, because that's really what it's all about. That's what big companies like Polaris Razor and Yokohama Tires, some of my bigger sponsors like Fox Shocks, that's what their goal is too, is to, like you said, get the return of investment high enough to where they can pay their athletes top dollar, in order to make it all come together and work in the end, from the advertising and marketing standpoint.
Yeah, because I still think like the circle is still round, Kristen. If they didn't have you actually racing, then their product wouldn't be promoted in such a way, and you're adding credibility because of the profile that you've built up. So I always tend to side with the athlete more than I mean, I've had arguments over it, which comes first, the brand or the rider. But, I always stick with the rider or the driver, because, and the same with events, championship organizations, who tend to put, the eventers first and then comes the athletes. And I said, well, hang on. if you didn't have your rider or your driver, you wouldn't have an event. So
it's true,
I can't.
but at the same time, the way I see it is there's a bunch of athletes, female, as well, just waiting in line, to have my seat in that race car. So,
Yeah,
there's a fine line there. I don't want to
yeah.
overstep my boundaries. I mean, I definitely negotiate every year to see where we stand and see what we can get, as far as compensation goes. And I've been blessed and happy with what they've been giving us. And it takes us to the races and it supports what we want to do as athletes. And I'm happy with that at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, definitely Team USA in the Dakar Rally, and completing it, must have been a real sweet victory, for everybody. Would that be so?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
our ultimate goal was to go there and finish on year one, just because there's multiple teams there that told us face to face that they've been there 3 and 4 years before they even got a finish. So they
Yeah.
said before we even started the event that if we finished the rally on our first year, that they would be very impressed with us. So we did
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And plans are already underway for 2022, Kristen, is that right?
Yes. We are, since we got back, we've been working with Polaris Razor and trying to figure out exactly what our next move needs to be. And some moves have already been made. And we're excited to just continue on and get the cars done sooner this year so we can do a lot more testing and be better prepared for when we get over there.
Wow. Okay. Really super. Okay. Well, I don't know where Jordan might be driving over to see you, Kristen.
Yeah, it looks like she entered the darkness somewhere, so she must be a different country. Oh, there she is. Oh, no.
Oh, she's been.
I am.
she's gonna stop.
Fine.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I think we kind of covered everything that I wanted to. Yeah, I'm in awe of you, Kristen. Like it was it's a major feat that you've gone step by step to even take on board the Dakar, and yeah, super congrats to you, and also to your whole team and your family, because at the end of the day, I suppose those are the ones who are who've got your back. Well, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, if it wasn't for my parents taking care of our two little boys while we were gone the entire 23 days, it wouldn't be possible there. And our crew, making sure everything was put together and all the parts and everything were organized before we shipped them over there. And Polaris engineers working for a solid month at our race shop here in San Diego. They literally lived here working on those vehicles to make sure that they cross that finish line. And then, of course, the sponsors, too. There's just so many people involved and so many people to thank. And I don't think a lot of people know what it truly takes. It's such a massive effort to put a program like that together, especially in the short amount of time that we did it in, too. Normally, people will start planning for Dakar 2023 right now, like 2022, they're ready for that one, and they're already planning for the next year at this point. So there's just so much to it, and I was super proud of our whole team for pulling it off and getting to that end there with the finish.
Awesome. Okay. And Jordan. So
yes, ma'am.
It's super, I mean, there's lots of things that come out from this. I mean, I know we're chatting about stuff, but it's also connecting, and for me, it's super nice to have, you both together on a screen. Yeah, the chat will be saved, and people share it, and I look at the views, and it's in the thousands. So for sure there's an interest, and it's it's nice that I'm able to do it. Yeah, so super thanks.
I just wanted to say something to Jordan too. I know we haven't gotten the chance to talk to her that much, but I don't even know her, but I'm super proud of her. I think she's doing a phenomenal job, and she's young, and she's done so much in such a short period of time that I can't wait to see where she goes. I'm going to definitely be following her from now on.
Yeah. Thank you, Kristen. Yeah.
Thank you. I think the same about you. What you do in the Dakar is absolutely insane. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you could.
From what little that I have seen, it is crazy. I try to follow everything that I can. I try and follow NASCAR and just kind of keep an eye on everything, see what's going on, and just to know somebody that's completed one of those races is absolutely insane. You have accomplished so much as well. From what I know, it is very impressive that you started the race.
Yeah.
Let alone finished it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
appreciate it.
That's awesome as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. Super stoked to have you both with us. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And and I'll keep pushing whatever you're achieving, and on and off the track. Yeah, it's just great for women all around the world. Yeah, awesome.
We'd love to be on the show again too. We'll have to come back together a year from now and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thank you,
totally
Kristen.
down.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.